Good morning. Bon matin. All right, guys. So let's look at the market. My guess is that will be a pretty quick session. Um, but that's always what I say, and it ends up with a longer session. So let's see. We'll try to do it quick. All right. Let's start with basics. All right. Price. Uh, let's start with QQQ. All right, so first thing first, uptrend above a rising 21 DME structure. For me, that's the most important, right? Uh, Yesterday, breakout of that tight range that we're building for 2 days. What a digestion! 2 days of sideways action, but that's what we got. Um, and now, yesterday we broke out, new all-time high. We're still above that all-time high base, above 635. So price-wise, this is good, right? The problems remains the same. We're extremely short-term extended at 3.44 times ETR from the 21 EMA. Um, and we're also pretty extended from the 10-week moving average. So now the mid intermediate term begins to be pretty stretched as well. Uh, so obviously, it remains a good show of strength out of that correction into that breakout, but don't get complacent. All right. Is today the day that we need to stress test? I don't know, and that's a bit the take that I want to have this morning is uh, it's usual, it's normal, and it's LT to kind of rally into low volume. Uh, but the action since last night it's is a bit funky. Um, and that puts me a bit of on defensive to see that funky action, that high volume action overnight. So we saw a spike on Nasdaq. Let's look intraday, which I'm not used to, but um, there was that big spike last night, almost 1% down, and that was bought quickly. But that was still a pretty big move, right? Uh, so we're acting right, so it's being bought. Uh, but you see that volatility coming, and that's usually not a very good sign to see volatility come in while the market is super extended. That puts me more on defensive than looking to be aggressive on margin, to be honest. So that changes a bit my game plan into today. Uh, I remain to be I want and remain patient. That doesn't change, but not looking to have any exposure, even if we have intraday weakness. Um, and I'm really looking to decrease my new exposure risk in Ethereum, in Light, um, and maybe cut some risk if the market is weak and we don't see any strength. Uh, Sats is a name that I would like to cut if we have some weakness. Same thing for TPR that closed just at the edge of the 21 DME structure. So I want to see how the session goes. All right. But just be careful knowing that the market um, and the queues are extremely extended at 3.44. That extreme, right? Uh, so don't don't be too aggressive. Make sure to manage your new exposure risk. Make sure to have cushion. And I know we're talking about that in the last few days, but be mentally ready if a stress test happens. All right, you can have a 1, 2, 3, 4% down days depending on your portfolio ATR, right? Depending on the names that you hold, and that would be still normal within that uptrend. So even if we see a failed breakout yesterday and we have some weakness, we could see a retest of that 635. That would probably mean that there's a lot of your names in your portfolio that show bigger weakness than a 3% move. All right, that could be double, triple that as a pullback. So just be mentally ready, and that is much easier to be if you have the cushion and you have already good traction on your position. They are already de-risked, and they are further away from their own 21 DMA structure. That will give you cushion to weather such stress tests and pullback. So I'm not saying that's what will happen. Obviously, we can digest through time, so sideways, funky sideways action, or through price if we start to see weakness and we get sort of a flush to retest prior structure, retest rising structure. That would still be pretty constructive. All right, so I think price wise, the thing to get from uh, this morning is we have a bit of funky action since the close last night, and it happens when we are extremely overbought and extended. So I don't like that volatility up there. Sometimes it hides some things. So I rather be very patient and not too aggressive into that weakness this morning and today. All right. Oh, I was not sharing my screen. Sorry. All right. So now let's flip to TradersLab. So that's the same thing on QQQE, right? Super extended from the 21 DMA structure. Yesterday was a good day. MCO flipped back up. We're still overbought. But for me, the main thing is that we're still in a breadth expanding regime. All right, the McClellan summation is still trending higher above a rising 10 DMA. And we're now entering positive territory. All right, doesn't mean that the trend is done. All right, but we might be already halfway through the bulk of the momentum. After that, it gets much harder to gain traction. All right, and you really have to wait for weakness, but there's still room. All right, that's the key thing to get from here is there's still room on the McClellan summation to run higher. All right, so far this is pretty aggressive expansion, um, a bit like we saw in last April, and we still have room to the upside. That's the key takeaway from this. Um, Market internals, credit spread still downtrend below a declining 21-day structure, all good. VIX, a bit of a gap up again. We're building below that declining 21-day structure. As long as we hold that structure, we'll be good. Bitcoin, tight inside day. To be honest, it can be it can go sideways into the weekend. That would be pretty classic action. but we're still trading above that base structure. So this is just a rest day, digest day. And yeah, let's see how it reacts. The trend is still confirmed, so we have higher lows above that rising structure. So don't overthink it. The trend is confirmed. A bit more weakness on Ethereum. So Bitcoin leading, Ethereum back into the 21 day structure. I'm still above my cost basis, but I don't want to see a failure of that rising 21 day structure. So I want to see that holding structure being strong today, ideally finding some buyers, building another higher low in the structure, and then pushing from there. Otherwise, I will have to cut that position, uh, just considering where the market is, how extended it is, and that risk assets. If they break their structure, that's not really uh, constructive action. All right, so ASML was cut yesterday. That's the only move that I did yesterday on that news. Otherwise, to be honest, portfolio is not looking bad at all. There's something pushing, something digesting. That's to be expected. All right, so light, still a new position. Building that higher low was pretty strong yesterday. And that was good leadership action in that group. So you saw AOI, Cien, even GLW, etc., and that group having a bit of a hard time and pulling back into structure, and Light was pretty strong. So good leadership action. It just proves that it's a leader in the group. Blue Energy earnings coming up next week, sorry. But just trending above a rising 21 day structure. For me, I'm on my core. I have nothing to do here. Just let it trend. Same thing for TER, trending nicely above a rising 21 day structure. SATS, a bit at risk for that position. Failed breakout again of that base. We could still see that as a failure and time to build the handle. So I want to be patient if we can hold that 21 day structure today. And if it starts to build the right side, then I want to keep that position. Micron, big all-time high breakout yesterday. That's super nice to see. I'm on my car just trading the 21 day structure. So yeah, from those big bases breakout can comes bigger uptrend. So that's what I'm trying to capture. Nebius failed the reversal pivot once again. At this point, it was already very extended. So I would welcome some pullback into rising structure. That could actually give a pretty decent add opportunity in the next few days. So I'm welcoming any weakness in Nebius from here. GV, nice earnings reaction. That's a proper EP, 14% move on big volume to a new all-time high. So I'm on my core, nothing to do. Caterpillar, inside day, good action, trending above a rising 21 day structure. VRT, uh, earnings, gap down, but trying to establish a new higher low above the rising 21 day structure. That could also give a proper add opportunity. So we'll look how it builds. If we have some weakness into the 21 day structure, that will probably be the name that I had. All right. So let's add that to the focus list. Same thing for Nebius. And I'm a bit in a spot where I'm not really looking to add more position to the portfolio. I think I have already pretty decent leader in each groups. So I'm looking to add to my position instead. GLW, same thing. Trying to establish a new higher low of the right side. Really getting tight, so it's building very well. If we have some weakness today, that could be an opportunity as well. ARM, big beautiful breakout, and yeah, that's a new all-time high. IPO run base breakout, so that's a multi-year base breakout. I'm on my car and I want to be patient with this one. Clearly showing leadership action. Kava getting tight, flagging for 3 days. This is constructive action. TPR at risk today. If we can't get back into the 21 day structure, I'm out. XYZ pretty extended inside day. Let's look where it flips from there. Could also welcome a pullback in there to cool off, even retest that kind of base structure. And that will probably coincide with the 21 day structure retest as well. EBIT will probably try to fill the gap today. That's good. Same thing for Ethereum. So that's a portfolio. Like I said, not really looking at new positions. That's really adding to my cores, trying to trade around my cores in my position, and build a bigger position over time as the trend progresses. So Micron is gone. Nebius on watch for a pullback. VRT on watch for a pullback. GLW on watch for a pullback. EMAT was in the focus list yesterday. That's a nice push of the right side of that inside day as well. Unfortunately, now it's gone. Mod, just a bit too high. And again, I don't want to add a new name. ASML, I don't like that news yesterday. And Dell as well. Not sure if that's set up. So that's really those three positions that I would like to add on weakness. But like I said, for me, market is key. Market is first. I don't really like that volatility while we're extremely extended. I like to see a grind up extended market, not volatile extended market. So that will push me a bit more on defensive, on patience, and yeah, we'll take it day by day, guys. That's always hard to tell exactly what will happen today. My crystal ball is very often broken, but I don't really need it. All right. My game plan is the market is extended. We get some volatility, which I don't really like. Uh, it's time to be patient. All right. There's a time to push and be aggressive, and there's a time to be patient and just see where this market will go. And just cool off. At some point, this market will need to cool off, and when it does, then it will be time to be aggressive. All right, not up there. That's it, guys. That's the game plan for me today. I think that situational awareness becomes pretty important. Um, and yeah, as usual, I will be updating along the day, updating near the end of the day, just to update a bit what's my game plan and how it changed during the day. And yeah, let's see if that trend can continue. That would be uh, nice to build more cushion before that cool off and that pullback happens, but we never know. Oh, JV want to follow through. That's nice to see. All right, so guys, I don't know if you have chart requests, questions, anything. Otherwise, that would be kind of the session for this morning. Yeah, light is good leader. I like how it builds. The only downside is it's pretty weakly extended. Um, but there's a big catalyst there, big story. And it just leads. So you have to follow the setup. And right now we have a base breakout and trying to establish a new higher low as we retest that structure. So buyers are still in control. Maybe we get a nice push into earnings, and if it does, then that will probably be a really good spot to trim some off and wait for the reaction. All right, guys. So I wish you a good day. Um, take it easy, please. Take it easy. See where this market go. Like we discussed this morning, again, market is a bit funky. A bit of volatility is coming in uh, while we're super extended. So be cautious. I think that patient is key here, and you'll have your spot. You'll have your time to be aggressive. Uh, but with SMH, uh, almost 4 times ETR, and yeah, I was looking at that yesterday at 3.7 times ATR. There was one time last October, and then we had some kind of digestion. And yeah, I don't want to say that we peaked, but uh, 3.7 ATR from the 21 EMA, 3.7 ATR from the 21 EMA. Draw your own conclusions, guys. 3.7 times ATR from the 21 EMA, 3.7 times ATR from the 21 EMA, 3.7 times ATR from the 21 EMA. I think you see the picture, right? Uh, that's SMH. So, sure, we can continue. We can still trend higher. There's nothing impossible, right? Uh, Damn, that 3.7 ETR from the 21 EMA is pretty spot on. 2021. All right, I'll stop looking at it. I'll get bearish. Uh, but yeah, just look. It's so extended. So there was a big correction, bear market. So obviously we went higher, and that's good. But if we get, where was that? If you get a gap up this morning and we get some type of kind of reversal up there, uh, you will see me remove risk at the end of the day. Yeah, like that. If you get some downside reversal, uh, it's time to take off some of the table. But yeah, look at that 3.7 times HER extension on SMH. It's leading, but at the same time, it's so extended and been a pretty good spot for reversals and pull. Not, let's not call it top, right? I'm not here to call it top, but just a place to chill, place to cool off. That's a pretty reliable extension on SMH. How do you see the ETR multiple from the 21 EMA? You can use my indicator. It's all in the Git book. All right. So you can go in the Git book. You'll see the ETR extension um, indicator, and you can use that as well. All right, guys. So again, I think that caution is warranted. Um, Market super extended, semiconductors at extreme extension, and like we just observed, I think that's a spot for potential cool off, especially if we start to see a downside reversal or something like that. Uh, and if positions cannot push further from here, you will see me take some off the table today, especially with that volatility coming in uh, while we're extended. All right, guys. So have a good day. Take care. Be cautious. Not a spot to be aggressive again. I don't want you to get hurt. So have a good day. Cheers. Bye bye.